Alright guys, this next video is going to be on number 9. So it says use linear regression in your calculator, find the equation for the best fitting line of the data below. So I already entered this data, but if you don't remember how to get there, click stat and then edit. That's how you enter in data. Okay, just like when we plug in a graph, guys, we need to double and triple check that the data that we plug in is matching the data from the table. Okay, so make sure, go through the list and double check that all your numbers are entered correctly, because sometimes you click a key and maybe you didn't push it hard enough so it doesn't register. Things like that will happen, and then you're going to lose points because your regression isn't going to be exactly like it's supposed to be. So the first thing it asks us is to find the equation. So to get the equation of the data, we go to stat, we go to calculate, and then we want linear regression. So that's number 4. We can just click 4. Newer calculators look like this. Older calculators, it just says lin reg, ax plus b. It doesn't matter if you have an old one or a new one. For new ones, we go to store regular equations. Old ones, you're just going to click vars, and then you're going to go y vars, function, y1, because we want it to store into y1. Now we go down to calculate. And then bam, here is our linear regression with all the statistics, right? So a is the slope, b is the y-intercept, r squared, and then r, okay? So we would write that in for the equation. So for letter A, it says using your equation, what is the value of y when x equals 82? To do this, all I'm looking for is for you to plug in 82 into this linear equation and figure out what y is, okay? Or we can graph it because we just threw it into our y1, right? So we just threw this into our y1. Okay, so this is our linear regression. If we want to see the dots, we can turn on plot 1. If we don't really care about the dots, we don't even need to turn plot 1 on. So let's go to the window. The window tells us that the biggest x value that we have is 93. So that means my x maximum, at least 93. So let's make it 100. 100 shows us 93 and then a little bit past that. Our x minimum, the lowest value that we have, is 50, right? So 50 is the lowest value. So let's go a little bit lower than that. Let's say 45. Okay, we could go even lower than that. Why not 40? Scale, I'm just going to turn that scale off. I don't care to see the tick marks. So my y minimum, the lowest y value that I see on this table is 3.7. So let's just go 3 to be on the safe side. The maximum y value I see in this table is 5.8. So let's go like, I don't know, 6.5. You could even go up to 7. It's not going to hurt. Counting by 1 would not be bad, but I'm just going to turn off the scale just to turn it off. I'm not really too concerned about it. And now we click graph. Okay, that gives us a really nice line. If you want to make sure that the data looks good, turn your plot 1 on and now click graph. Okay, boom. Linear regression is going right through all those points. So that means you have nailed your window. It all looks great. It says, using your equation, what is the value when x equals 82? So we could click trace. See how it's on plot? We don't want it on plot. We want it on the linear regression. Now that we're on the linear regression, all I did was I clicked down. Okay, it took us to the linear regression. You can see right here at the top, it says y1. That's the linear regression equation. Now we can type in 82. Click enter, and then it takes us right to 82. So it says that the y value would be about 5.32. Okay. It says using your table, what is the value of y when x equals 82? So how do we get to table? First, it's asking us for when x is 82. Why not start our table at 82? Okay. So to get here, you click second window. That brings up this menu, the table setup. Okay, so you table setup, 82 is where we want the table to start. Now we can click second table or second graph, and then bam, right? Now our table says at 82, our y value is 5.32. So that one is letter A and B. So B is what we just did. We found it in the table. A was when we clicked trace and we typed in 82. So letter C says, using your equation, what is the value of x if y is equal to 6? So it gives us a y. It tells us that it's 6. We're going to put that into y2, and we're going to click graph again. Luckily, I opened up my window just enough that I could see this value where it's going to cross. So then I could go second trace, and I can go intersect. So 5. There's only 2 curves, so y1, y2. Guess, there it is. So where does my linear regression equal 6? It equals 6 at 95.37. Okay, so that's how we would do letter C. And finally, letter D says, using your calculator, graph what is the value of x if y equals 6. Oh, that's what we just did, right? We just did letter D. So letter C, I was just asking you algebraically to solve that, right? To solve letter C algebraically, you would set 6 equal to your regression equation, and then you would just solve for x. And then that should give you that 95, okay? That 95 point whatever we were at. So that's how you would do C. C was algebraically, D was graphically. Okay, and that's how you do number 9.